It's a secret society. All they ask is trust. Another beautiful scene, right? Another beautiful scene. I'm at the state park. Man, let's get into it. I'm Magnetic Intuition. Let's talk about what your purpose is in life, right? As you know, we're all here for a reason, right? We pray that you decide to use your purpose for the Most High YAH, the Creator, right? And not the devil, the Luciferian, the satanic host, right? You use it and you be wise with it, right? So, how can you find out what your purpose is, right? Now, let me say this. I can only speak for myself, right? And how I found my purpose, right? So, number one, I always knew I was a chosen one. I always knew I was different, right? There's just some things that we have in ourselves that the Most High Creator puts in us that you can't ignore, right? And one of those things is being unique. And many times being an outcast, right? And we have to use that to our advantage, more or less, right? I guess you could call it the unicorn, right? We have to take that and use it for the Most High, right? For the Creator, right? Use our creativity, use our energy, our chi, right? Use our motivation to create, right? So, your purpose is going to be within you already. You just have to embrace it. Now, if you want to bring it out, then of course, we can get into the details, right? So, I would say number one would be exploring, right? Exploring. Try traveling, try hiking. First, you got to find out what you really like, right? Of course, as we're growing up, we love sports. So I think sports is something that pulls out the competitiveness out of us, right? I have no issues with sports whatsoever because when we're young, we need to be exercising. We need to be moving our body, right? We need to learn how to stretch. We need to learn how to basically use our energy for the right things, right? Instead of using our energy for selling drugs and, you know, hating on people and wishing the worst on people, jealousy, right? So I think when we first grow up, sports is going to be something we should get into, especially if we're men, right? Women, hey, even better, right? So more or less exploring, getting into sports, hiking, mountains, the movies, fashion, you know, wearing certain clothes, you know, just having your own style, having your own charisma. Arts, of course, right? Art museums are amazing. Museums in general. Going to the zoo, checking out the lions and giraffes, you know. Some people like to bird watch, seeing the squirrels, etc., right? But the cheat code actually comes in with your purpose when you actually look into the things that they tell you not to look into. The things that society tells you not to look into, right? For instance, astrology, numerology, tarot. Not being religious. These are the things that are outside the box that they tell you not to look at, right? Owning crystals, right? These are the things they say are demonic, right? Well, let me ask you this. How does a demonic system tell you that something's demonic, right? Now, first and foremost, let's say this for sure, right? There are demonic people that use these things to destroy people's lives, right? Without a doubt, right? And I think we have to look into what we call the occult, which is the hidden, right? And at least research it, right? And see what's really going on. And within that, you may find your journey. You will find a journey. You will find a transformation in yourself just by going outside the box, right? And I can guarantee you will find your purpose too, right? For me, I was already, buying crystals. I was already, recently when I found out that I was a targeted individual, a couple of years back, I started watching tarot, right? And I started learning that these actual readers were not all demonic. They actually had people, these readers that were actually telling me what was going on in my life. And since I have such a big destiny, right, in my life, right, a big path, that's very important. As I always say, I'm an earth angel, I'm a chosen one, right? I'm gonna be targeted, that's without a doubt, right? And I talk about that a lot, right? So these people, these readers are able to somehow, channel my stories, right? Channel my life, right? And I always thought it was amazing. And because I'm just watching these people on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, like, how are these people able to know my stories? Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There are a couple of them that I have found that are fraud and they're fake, right? And the secret societies are telling them what to say, right? So you have to be careful, right? Now, when we're dealing with astrology, I dipped in astrology here and there, but I never really got into it, right? And that's something that I'm really looking at right now, right? Trying to figure out some things with astrology, right? And but it does tell you, exactly what's in your chart. What happens when you're in certain situations, like money-wise, your relationships in life, your career. What's your purpose? Astrology is really good for telling you what your purpose is, right? Then you have numerology, right? Something I have to get into, right? I know a little bit here and there about numerology, but not much. And that deals with what the numbers, the meaning of the numbers, right? 1111, 2222, 3333, right? So even looking at numerology, when I look at like some of the numbers and the meanings, I'm like, wow, like the beginning, the end, new transformations, and these numbers have different meanings that we need to know. When you put the numbers together, you combine those meanings, right? So that's one of the things that my enemies use against me, right? Is me looking into numerology, angel numbers, right? Because they're terrified that I'll learn numerology and I'll figure a lot of things out, which I have already figured things out about really knowing numerology. But at the end of the day, these people, they'll drive around with their license plates, the agents and e-secret societies in front of me, and they'll put 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, 666, just to throw me off, or just to basically, just act like, like it don't mean nothing. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, it's all knowledge and wisdom. You turn that into wisdom, right? So at the end of the day, everything that society tells you not to look at, you should actually look at. Because it's what's going to open that door for you, right? To know what your purpose is, right? To know what to expect in life, right? Because the Most High is already written his life, whether we know it or not, right? And it's your choice to jump into your journey, your destiny, your path, right? And complete your mission, right? Whether you're here to clean up karma, or you're here or you signed up to come back, reincarnate, incarnate into this life. But we all have a choice at the end of the day. Because society is just one box, right? Are you going to stay in that box forever? Are you ever going to be fully satisfied with life? With all the basics, money, cars, clothes, and what else, right? Or are we going to open up to the quality of life and the spiritual joys of life, right? The journeys that we must go through, the trials and tribulations we have to go through, right? To meet our Creator, right? And give love and thanks to your ancestors, right? Because we all have a legacy, right? It's written for us. We have a legacy, either we like it or not. We're either going to fulfill it or we're not. So me, I choose to go against everything that's against me, right? I choose to join my ancestors and join my Creator to strive for the best, right? But people talk about their kings and people talking about him. People talking about they're the chosen ones, right? Okay, no problem. Prove it to your Creator. You don't have anything to prove to any of the people that's around you, but prove it to your Creator at the end of the day, right? Let your Creator determine, let your ancestors determine that, right? Let your archangels determine that, right? But that's all that really matters at the end of the day, right? Opinions don't matter, like I always say. Stay blessed, people. Stay prayed up. I'm Magnetic Intuition. Blessings.